just consistently didn't make enough plays to win the game. And, that's what, I've voiced to our coaching staff, to our players, is that, I'm tired of playing these games close, and close doesn't cut it in the sport. And we got to find a way to push through and break through and find a way to win these ball games. I thought spotty, and two, I think, defensively, just extremely spotty. I think, they started slow and they were able to settle in the game. And, there's a stretch there where we forced them, 6 straight 3-and-outs, and, they had hardly any production. And then I thought late in the game we kind of relapsed and they were able to lean on us, where they scored the last, 3 or 4 drives against us. And so, I thought both sides had opportunities to win the game for us. I thought offensively we started extremely fast. We were explosive early. And then we went kind of into a lull and kind of took turns making mistakes there. We dropped some key passes on third downs. We weren't very good. We got it to second and short 2 or 3 times, which are good. Our first down was good, and run the ball and we go backwards. And so too many negative plays to then put us in third and long situations. I thought our kids are playing hard. They're resilient. They fight, but that always doesn't turn into wins for you, and we got to find a way to flip that into where we're winning football games. And so just at some point somebody's got to step up on either side of the ball and make that marquee play when we have these. We're kind of going back and forth there at the end of the game, and we sputtered one time on offense, and then they didn't. There's all the lead changes going on, so we got to find somebody who's going to step up and make a play for us and be the guy that's the difference maker on this team. And I don't care, whether that's special teams, whether that's offense, whether that's defense, anything. Special teams, I thought the kick game and return game, was pretty much a non-factor in this game. 2 really good kickers on both. Well, I take that back. We made one, major error in kicking the ball out of bounds, and it gave them great field position. Their kicker hit out of the end zone every single time, and so the ball transition, I thought, pretty smoothly, with the one exception with our kick out of bounds and then our snap over the head. So, and those are 2 self-inflicted wounds. Like, those are things that, when you're playing these games and against quality opponents and these teams that, are well coached, they got good players, they got good schemes, those little things show up in a big way. And so, we turned the ball over once. They didn't. We had 2 fumbles. We recovered 1. So I think between that, the miscues on special teams, because I don't think, there's a game-breaking play in the special teams area. I thought we just kind of gave them 2 things. We're like, hey, here you go. Let's give you the ball down here. Now our defense bowed up and did a great job and forced them to miss a field goal. So it was really a wash in points right there. But, we can't give good teams opportunities to capitalize on boneheaded plays on our part.
You mentioned after the game that you kind of take a look at what transpired defensively in that game. What did you see after you went back and looked at it?
Yeah, I thought, a bunch of different things. Sit here all, I thought, our communication was bad, number one, where, we busted some coverages early on some key downs, which can't happen. And that's something that we got to get corrected and fixed, or these teams that we're playing, here down the stretch will take advantage of that. I mean, and so that's self-inflicted wounds like I talked about earlier, and 2, we got to do a better job coaching during the week where we don't go out there and we communicate better. Our alignment was bad on some key run stuff, where we're not in the right alignment and puts us at a disadvantage from the start. Same thing, good running back, good O-line, good quarterback on the other side. They take advantage of it. And so just we got to tighten things up. And when we were aligned right and did some stuff, I mean, there was some stretches in there. And that's what's so baffling for me as the head coach, and what I got to get figured out is it can't be so good for this amount of time and then so bad for this amount of time. And just the consistency factor's got to change.
How did you guys come out of that game health-wise?
Health is what it is for our team right now. I mean, I think everybody knows who's playing, who's not playing, and where we're at right now. I mean, we were really, really thin D-line going into that game. We got 3 guys, key guys that have been playing a lot for us that weren't available. 2 safeties go out first quarter, so don't have your 2 starting safeties. Everybody knows where we're at running back. Super proud of the way the running backs are playing. Shane Porter did a nice job, with the exception of putting the ball on the turf that one time. And two, our running backs weren't great in protection, was the big thing that from film that we need to get better and get corrected on. And then wideouts is I think that I thought that they did some good stuff mixed in there. I thought just the consistency factor of it. We had a couple drops, something we got to get addressed. We've had way too many drops at wide receiver this year. I thought quarterback gave us a chance to win, but I also thought just playing devil's advocate. He missed some throws he hasn't missed all year, as far as just some easy gimme hitches that he makes all the time. And so yeah, we got to, as we play these, the margin of error becomes so much smaller when you're playing a team like Memphis, when you're playing a team like Tulane we're about to face, and so on and so forth. Is we got to tighten these things up, or we're going to sit here and we're going to be close, and not be able to pull these things out.
Coach, y'all showcased a much different looking offensive line on Saturday. Just thoughts on their performance and the health of Landon Peterson going into this Saturday.
Yeah, Landon practiced today. And hopefully get him back and in rhythm this week. And so there's some couple different things that we can do, as far as if we want to leave Braden outside at left tackle. We could bump Jet out there, move Braden back to right guard. So we're kind of doing some different things, messing with a couple different lineups that figure out, by Thursday who gives us the best opportunity to win this game. I think we pretty much know who our best 5 to 6 guys are right now. Just the consistency factor of it has been something that's been lacking for us, and not their fault. It's just been one thing after another. With a little small injury here, not available here, and so yeah. I think we got to get Landon has probably been our best tackle up to this part. Jet's doing a nice job bumping out there for us, but having him back in the lineup will be big for us.
And what are your thoughts on this Tulane team and what they might do to challenge y'all this Saturday?
Yeah, I think top to bottom as good as a football team as we're going to face all year. There's just no holes in what they have, and you look at the brand of football they play. I think it's similar to what they built in the past there. I think Coach Summerall does a fantastic job of laying down the expectations. You can see by the way they play, the attitude, the grit, the effort they play with. They're super aggressive on defense, and not from like a blitz standpoint, but just they're an aggressive team where they want to challenge you. They want to play man coverage. They get after you up front with the defensive line. This is as good a defensive line as we played all year, so big challenge for us there. Just turnover margin. They're fantastic. They don't turn the ball over on offense. They get a bunch of turnovers on defense. They like to slow it down and play the possession game, and they committed to running the football. And then this quarterback that they have is doing a phenomenal job facilitating and throwing it to some wideouts that are explosive and some play action stuff. Running back, just like last week, big, strong, aggressive. Defensively, I think they got 2 of the best linebackers in this conference. The Grubbs kid has played a ton of football there. Good players on the back end, and D-line's probably the best holistically D-line we've faced this year. So yeah, I think this is a team that is well coached. This is a team that plays hard. This is a team that knows their identity and to go out there and they want to act. You know what they're going to do. I don't think they want to come up and sneak up and throw some kind of neat new scheme at you. It's like, hey, they're pretty good at what they do, and they're going to go put the football down and play. And so yeah, just a ton of respect for what they've kind of built there.
And how are guys like Damon Ward recovering, and thoughts on how Miles Coleman kind of stepped up on Saturday? Yeah,
Damon practiced today, and so we'll see his progression through the week. Wasn't his sharpest day you've ever seen. He's just been off for a while, and so. But we have the most confidence in that kid and seeing what he's been able to do on game days for us. Miles continues to get better. I think when you have somebody like DT that's doing what he's doing right now, and people are obviously going to put an emphasis of stopping DT, it allows some of these other guys. I thought Landon Sides had a big catch down the seam for us. I thought Wyatt had a couple nice things. I thought that Miles Coleman continues to show that he's capable of playing at this level at something that he's multiple. We played him inside. We played him outside a little bit. motion him. He's a little bit smaller guy, but extremely fast. So, just got to know what we have there and continue to work. Maybe, his release game is something we've got to continue to work on. But, I thought did a fantastic job of being able to step in and make some key, third down, fourth down catches for us.
Y'all went for it. Excuse me. Y'all went for it 6 times on fourth down against Memphis and 22 times overall. We're not one of the highest in the country. How do you feel like the analytics have either helped or hurt y'all throughout the stretch of a game?
Yeah, I think, I'd have to go back and really study it. I think probably help a little bit more than hurt. Obviously, there's, a couple plays there that we'd like to have back, the fourth down and 2. Kind of midfield there was one that felt like we had a good thing, a good play call, and they ran a stun up front, and it was something that we just didn't pick up front that they twisted, and something that we'll learn. It's something where we have true freshman center, and it's something that he hadn't seen, and he'll learn from that, and he'll grow. He's a smart kid, and so I think that just with where we're built, how we're built right now, with where we're at with injuries, where we're at both sides of the football. I mean, some of those things. I mean, I think the analytics thing is something that you need to trust in it and go all in whenever they're telling you to go for it, or it's something that you need to just pull back from and be a gut guy that kind of goes by the old school gut feeling of a head coach. And so yeah, we've stayed pretty committed to what it tells us.
And you're all going against another team that's averaging 20 or less points per game given up defensively. Do you feel like there's more pressure on y'all to perform as high as you'd have the past few weeks, especially going against better defenses?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they have to go against us too. I think that it's probably not fun to game plan for us right now on the other side of the ball, and I think our athletes have done a nice job in space. We've been pretty multiple at getting some different things going. So, yeah, I mean, to be quite frank with you, I was nervous going in against Memphis if we could move the ball with just kind of what we had right then, and there's somebody that, they'd come off 2 games where, quite frankly, they looked phenomenal against South Florida, and South Florida wasn't able to move the ball at all. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that it's always a challenge. I think, it's getting harder and harder right now, I think, to move the ball just across college football, across the NFL. And we just have to do a good job of continuing to find, ways to get our playmakers in space. Has been a good recipe for us this year. Obviously, the quarterback is good in the pocket. He's good outside the pocket. And then, I think the biggest thing that kind of is different a little bit from our identity is just, we got to continue just to find, and I got to do a better job as a play caller to be able to commit to the run a little bit more and being able to really get those, even the 3 and 4 yard tough gains that keeps you ahead of the chain and allows you to keep on pace and instead of going backwards in some situations.
Coach, with injuries on both sides of the offensive and defensive line, just what has been the challenge of playing so many physical teams that either like to stop the run or like to run the ball themselves?
I think it's the best recipe to winning football games in the world. Has been for a long time. Will continue to be. I think that, when we talk about, just simple blocking and tackling are probably the 2 most important phases of football, right? I thought we didn't tackle well at times last week. Even when we were in position to make tackles, I thought Memphis did a nice job. Memphis has built a great roster. Listen, there's no secret out there that, they got $5 million coming in there, and they went and got some transfers, and they look good, and there's a bunch of things. And that's not. I mean, and we're right there with them, right? But it's not easy going out there and doing it. I mean, they got 2 backs that were studs, and thought that they looked really good up front on both sides. Couple wideouts that could really run, that were big and got us in some mismatches at times on some vertical game. So yeah, I mean, I think and especially right now that all this is changing. Everybody wants to talk about portal, NIL, all this different stuff. The simple facts of football that being able to establish a run game and stop the run are still, in my opinion, the most important pieces to winning ball games.
And for you guys, just what on-the-field adjustments need to be made on the defensive end after that game against Memphis?
One more time.
What on-the-field adjustments need to be made on the defensive side?
Yeah, I mean, we got to do a better job first. Number one, getting aligned, like I talked about earlier. I mean, alignment's going to be key, and put ourselves in a position to even be successful to start off the jump. And aligning wrong on the defensive side of the ball is something that is, you know, embarrassing to some extent as far as, you know, putting our players in bad positions. And so I think that's number one. I think the communication level of things gotta be able to be better out there, and understanding, you know, that this is what's going on, or even if we're, you know, calling something as simple as calling strengths one way or another, and being on the same page. Like, I mean, if you don't communicate on the defensive side of the ball and your guys aren't on the same page, you're setting yourself up for disaster. And so, you know, I think those are the two most important things. And just like we talked about earlier, like tackling is a premier part of the defensive side of the ball. So we got to be able to get the ball down.
You mentioned you're looking for someone on either side of the ball to take that next step. Is there a position group that you think need to take that next step, you know, paramount for this win against Tulane?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts up front. You know, I think our offensive line and having some young guys in there and facing a D-line like this that is shown to be able to get after the passer and stop the run. I mean, I think that they're going to have, you know, their hands full during the course of this game. And this O-line's as big and physical as we've seen all year, like just top to bottom, and we know what they want to do. We know they're committed to doing it. So I think, you know, the battle in the trenches is something that is we're going to have to play good up front on both sides.
Looking at the standings as well, you guys are currently tied for fourth, 2-1. Beating Tulane does help you guys in that, you know, race for that conference championship. Just what are your thoughts about the way the Americans kind of shaping up in these next few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we got to find a way, like I talked about earlier, we got to find a way to win one of these close ones and be able to go out and be victorious, right? And I told the guys today, like, I mean, being close in these games, like I'm not about at all any kind of moral victories in this game. Like, this hurts. I don't care. I'm one of those guys. I'd rather just get blown out. But I know that some people are different. But I'm you know, quite frankly, like, just being close to these teams isn't our goal around here. It's not what we're shooting for, and we got to find ways to win.
Yeah, this weekend's homecoming. Now that you've been here a while, what would you tell fans about the best parts of showing up to homecoming, or that they should come and experience?
Yeah, and I think if it's homecoming or not, I mean, obviously for people to come back and see this place and that have been here through the eras, right? And you go back through the eras of North Texas football, you know, and I think people have a misconception of this place, that this place is, you know, been this, you know, FBS place for a really long time, when in reality, if you look back at the history of it, you know, it's 20-something years, you know, 25 years ago, you know, Southland Conference team and playing against, you know, SFA. So I think, you know, being proud of where it was for some of the you know, a little bit older generations to see, you know, the new field, the indoor, kind of the production of what we do on game days here. I think our media team does a phenomenal job. I think our promotions team, you know, I think our marketing team, just making it a fun live experience. Our band's phenomenal. You know, maybe the best band I've ever been a part of as a coach. And so, you know, I think that, you know, you only get 6 of these Saturdays a year at home. You know, our kids play hard. I think it's a fun brand of football. You know, I think our students, and we got to get out of this mold of people not wanting to come and enjoy these Saturdays together and cheering for our kiddos. And I think homecoming is a great time to do it. You get everybody from that's proud of the school, proud of their degree, want to come back and watch the Mean Green, you know, play on Saturday. And I don't care what, like people complaining about 11 o'clock, like, get over yourself. You know, you can go back to the Southland Conference and you pick when you want, because, you know, it's at 6 p.m. Like, that's a part of, you know, we don't get to pick it, and you're playing on, you know, for the 3rd or 4th time this year, a national TV game. Like get over yourself and get up a little bit earlier and come tailgate and have fun and watch the game at 11, then go home and enjoy those late games on your couch. So, like, I don't get the fact, you know, of the complaining about, oh, it's 11 o'clock game. Like, okay, you were playing a great team on national TV and in a great conference. Like, what are we complaining about? So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I get you there. You talked a little bit about Shane Porter. I just want to get one last question, a couple last questions in here. What made you think that when you guys needed somebody at running back that he was going to be a fit there to move him over there?
It's a good question. I don't have a great answer for you. He's kind of just the guy that was, he's a smart guy. He was really good on special teams, and kind of was down the depth chart on the wide receiver spot. So kind of just by chance, and he went in and actually started having a good spring, and then rolled his ankle pretty bad. And kind of fought through it, so you could see the toughness aspect. I wouldn't say he's built like a Division I running back. He's a little bit on the lighter side. But I think just putting together his savviness, the fact that he loves the game, the fact that he'll study, the fact that he knows, exactly what to do and where to go every single play is a huge piece to it. And I think he's got some running ability. When the ball's been in his hand, playing receiver all those years, I think just when he gets out in open space, he's shown the ability to make some people miss and fight for some yards. My only knock on him at all so far is just the putting the ball on the ground last week.
Yeah, one of the things you've mentioned here a couple of times over the course of the season is the importance of NIL. How confident are you with what the athletic department is doing to put you guys in the position to have the resources NIL-wise to be successful?
Yeah, well, that's the troubling part of it is the athletic department really doesn't control it right now, which I think is about to change. And so I think once we move into revenue share, then it allows the department to get a lot more aggressive and go out and raise funds and be able to support these kids from internally, a little bit different than being able to do it externally. And I think coming from a third party and all the different things that we're doing right now, obviously it's good. We're not even, I'd say we're in the bottom, the bottom piece of this conference, probably bottom 3 right now, if I had to guess, maybe even a touch lower. And so I think, and too, that's the old, if you agree with it, you don't agree with it. It is what it is, and that's what everybody's doing right now. And so it's something that, I think isn't going anywhere. I think the people that are doing it will continue to find ways to get kids in there and be successful. Now you want to be smart with it, and you want to be able to build your roster the right way and not make it fracture a locker room. There's a bunch of dynamics that go into it, obviously. But yeah, I think it's something that our fans, as we continue to do it, we need to continue to build momentum in that area and be able to stay on par, on course with these other teams.
All right, cool.
Coach, have you had a chance to watch back last year's matchup with Tulane, or has the coaching and player turnover from both sides kind of made it a little bit
No,
less?
we watched it last night. Offensive staff, and so just flying through. And really, they're pretty the actual scheme is similar to what they did last year. They didn't change their scheme, which I thought was smart on his part. And I really haven't watched any Troy stuff on what they brought. So it could be pretty much the same scheme that they brought from Troy as well. But yeah, and there's some key players that they have back on it, and so just going back and seeing what we were successful doing, what we were not successful doing, with how close the scheme is, I thought it was something important. Not putting as much emphasis on that as what we are from this year's film, but it was definitely something that we flew through last night and were able to kind of figure out, and clarify some ideas and say, don't like that as much. So.
All right, Blair, so coming off the Memphis game, as you went back and looked at that game, what was your evaluation of the way you guys played?
I think we played hard. I think that's just the first thing to be said. I think we started off fast. I think we kind of mellowed out towards the middle of it and then kind of picked it back up at the end. So we just need to put a whole game complete, and that's just speaking for offense. So.
And it seems like your guys' offense is really coming together. Did you guys see signs that you're continuing to put it together in that game?
We got a lot of young guys and just guys who are new to the system, so I think they're starting to really figure it out and understand the offense like I did. I think this was around the time I did it last year, so it's starting to go on track.
To see that one get away like that?
Yeah, no, it hurts, but you can't they've been saying you can't let one loss lead to another, so that's going to be our goal. Is just to not forget about it, but learn from it and then move on, and Tulane's our next opponent.
Yeah, and you talk about Tulane there. What is it that you see in these guys? Seem like they're pretty good defensively.
They're somewhat similar to Memphis DB wise, and who they are. So our goal is just to go out there and just try to improve and just win.
What do you remember about last year's meeting with Tulane, and how does a close loss like that kind of give y'all a little bit extra motivation going into this week?
I remember we were their homecoming, so that means a lot that they're our homecoming. I guess we're switching off, but no, it'll be important because this means a lot just for conference and stuff like that. And yeah, as you said, in the past they beat us, so we always want to try to get them back, I guess. But
Thoughts on the game that DT had, specifically those first two 75-yard touchdowns?
I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I've never seen anything like that. I mean, shoot. I think he had like 150 all-purpose in the first quarter, and we only had 2 plays. So, I mean, that's crazy to think about. But no, that's just it wasn't surprising because we know who DT is and his abilities. So.
Y'all had a bunch of true freshmen on the offense make plays for y'all this year. Who would you say has kind of impressed you the most to this point?
I think first and foremost, all of them have. I think the one specifically, I think who's just like gritty, I guess, and like just down dirty. But like I'd say Wyatt because we have a little pancake meter. He has the most pancakes, so I'm a little hurt by that. Thought I was the best blocking receiver, but clearly Wyatt is by the stats. But no, Wyatt, he's really shown out and he's really been making plays. So I'm happy for him. But I think all the freshmen have.
What do you think went wrong on that 2-point conversion in the last overall drive last week against Memphis?
I just wasn't on the same page with Chandler on that one, and I should have settled. That one's on me. I didn't really understand it, but yeah, no, I gotta settle and shoot. I still have to make the play. I still touch the ball, So.
You're going against another really solid defense in Tulane, only allowing 20 points a game. What have y'all kind of seen in them, and are there any raised expectations going into this game, and including next week as well?
Can you repeat that question? I'm sorry.
You're going against a good defense again. Do you think there's any higher expectations for this game, and how do you think y'all are going to be able to adjust to this again?
We always have. I think the one good thing about us is we always have great play callers. We have great play callers and coaches, so I think the expectation will always be the same for every game. Just go out there, put up as many points as we can. But I think that we have a good game plan, and yeah, I'm excited for it.
Well, you kind of had your best performance in a couple of games. Just what went kind of right for you against Memphis?
It was just scramble drill, man, just backyard football as they would call it. So luckily Chandler found me, and luckily I was able to get open and shoot. I'd even say like going back to like DT, like they were focused on DT. I mean, a guy has 150 yards all purpose. I mean, that's gonna get everybody else open. So that's the fun thing about this offense is that. Somebody goes off, it gets everybody else open.
Yeah, and then you mentioned a lot of your catches came from late game, just kind of working with Chandler. Just what does that say on y'all's chemistry? In those late game situations that he trusts you that much.
I would say our chemistry is really good, except for golf, except for scrambling. We clearly can't get that together. But I say our chemistry is pretty good, man. I mean, we live together, so gotta have good chemistry. I hope so. It's gonna be a quiet household, so no. And we played 3 years together, so.
And then you mentioned a lot of those young receivers kind of figuring it out finally. Just as a receiver, what is that figuring out? What is that piece that you feel like they're finally getting?
I think just with time, and they're finally catching up to the speed of the game. I mean, that's when I was a freshman, I think that was the biggest thing for me. I was trying to adjust to the speed of the game, and it's college football, and I think they're doing well. And I mean, you've been around the offense for who knows how many weeks now, but you're going to know the offense pretty good. So I'm not thinking as much. Sorry.
No, that's cool. You guys faced the preseason favorite in the league last week. You got another tough team that's undefeated in conference play, and you got Army after that, who's nationally ranked. Is this going to be a challenging stretch for you guys, and how do you handle that going in?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely challenging. I think everybody in our conferences can do anything and really pop off at any time. So it'll be a tough stretch, but I think we'll be all right. And we also have a bye week in between that, so I think that'll help us rest and recover. But no, it's definitely a tough stretch, but we love it. That's what you play football for, is to, like I said, gritty and mean and stuff. So that's good.
get to measure yourself against those teams? Is that something you guys relish,
Can you say that again?
Do you guys just enjoy getting to measure yourself against these top teams?
Oh yes, sir. Always. Yeah, we love to compete, and I think that's like like you said, like y'all said, they have one of the best defenses. So that's like what we live for.
Yeah, one of the guys that's kind of really stepped forward for you in a year you've had some skill position injuries is Shane Porter. What have you seen from him?
No, Shane he's a dog, man. We call him the Reaper because he's just good, man. Can't say enough about Shane. He's good at ping pong. Like he's just a dog, just a good guy, and shoot, he's a tough runner. I mean, as you can see, he's breaking tackles. So and he didn't even start off at running back. So I salute him.
Were you guys surprised by how successful he was moving over there?
Yeah, I guess you can say yeah, but no, we always knew Shane was athletic. So.
And so what's he like as a guy? Is he,
I say he's one of the funniest people on the team. One of the best ping pong tables. One of the best ping pong players on the team. He's just a down to earth guy, and I'm glad he's here, and he's just good company.
It seems like he finds his way into the post game video quite a bit. Is that something?
Yeah, no, those shoot, I can't say too much about those. Those are funny, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Hey June, so what were your thoughts on the way the game against Memphis played out?
Tough loss, but I know me and the guys are going to be resilient this week. I feel we came out with a game plan, but we just didn't execute in critical moments.
Yeah, Coach talked a little bit after the game about maybe looking at what you guys are doing defensively, maybe what's causing you some problems. As you guys looked a little bit closer at that game, have you guys come up with some thoughts on what you need to do better to maybe improve defensively?
Man, I feel after going over the tape again, with the coaches and our players, I feel it's just we got all the right things going on for us. Like we have a great game plan. I just feel that we just got to execute in the right spots with the right guys.
You guys getting a little short-handed over there? You look like you had some guys that were missing. Some guys went out in that game. Is it getting a little tough on you guys here?
Yeah, I mean, of course it's going to be tough on the guys just having some people out and trying to find guys to fill in spots. But I think we're a strong unit, and it's not a huge thing for us.
What are your thoughts on Tulane's run game and how they might challenge y'all this Saturday?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a big point of emphasis this week, seeing their running back and just seeing how much their offense runs, 12 personnel, 11 personnel. We've definitely been a point of emphasis this week.
And how do you think playing in front of a home crowd has kind of impacted the defense's performance this year?
Man, it means a lot. From my experience these past 4 years here, I feel like we definitely had more fan engagement this year, and it really means a lot to not just the defense but the whole team as a unit.
The first two offensive possessions last game were quick touchdowns within 2 plays. Do you feel like that kind of hurt y'all defensively at the beginning of the game, bleeding into the first half?
Man, we were just trying to really bounce back off of offense. They were bailing us out, back-to-back drives, and we just came off the game starting slow. So this is something we just need to improve on this week going into Tulane.
You guys really seemed like you were taking a step forward defensively. When you had the Wyoming game, you played well. The Tulsa game, you played really well, and you took a little bit of a step back these last couple of weeks. How confident are you guys that you can get back to the way you were playing in those games?
Man, it's just it's a big thing for us to just prove to everybody that we're a great team with a great defense, a great offense, and it's just another week of just proving to everybody that we can play at a high level.
You feel like you guys do have a lot to prove defensively?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We have a lot to prove. Like I said, we just got to stay in it and, follow the game plan and trust each other. And if everyone does their 1 in 11, their personal jobs, and I feel like we can be whoever we want to be.
Is it getting tough on you guys with guys like Evan Jackson going down? You getting a little shorthanded over there?
Oh, yeah, for sure, but I'm proud of the guys who do step up and come in, are ready to play on Saturday, so. Yeah.
One guy you probably faced a lot in practice that has really stepped for you guys this year is Shane Porter. What have you seen from him?
Oh, Shane Porter, yeah, he's caught me by surprise. Really, he's a really big team guy. All around guy, special teams, does whatever the coaches ask him, and just seeing how he gets in on offense and just dominates is really exciting and it's fun to watch.
Did you see that coming? I mean, you probably saw him playing receiver. And
Yeah, that's
other things.
yeah, caught me by surprise, really. But you know, he showed me a lot more than I was expecting. So yeah, shout out to Shane.
Is it a little bit different as a running back? It doesn't seem like he's got quite the build that you normally see from those guys.
Yeah, but personally, I like you know, just hit down the hole, no moves. You know, just get down and dirty, and yeah, it works out for us a lot. So yeah.
You impressed with that Memphis not Memphis, but the Tulane quarterbacks who's a redshirt freshman, hadn't played a lot until this year. Obviously, haven't played at all until this year. What do you see from him?
You know, I think it'll be a great challenge for him to play against us, and you know, it's definitely someone we've also been watching this week. So excited to play against him.